Yes, good afternoon, students, and welcome back into the second session of our online CSR NEET crash course. And our next expert is Dr. Bhakti Bajpai Madam. Bhakti Bajpai Madam is head of our Aribas Institute, and Madam is having more than 20 years of teaching and research experience. Most important thing related to our crash course, Madam qualified CSIR NEET examination. Even she also qualified GATE examination with 89 percentage. There are so many things in her profile, but very few things I would like to tell about her. That Madam is chairman of Board of Studies of CVM University. She is Senate member of SP University. Many students have completed PhD under her guidance. Madam published so many research articles in reputed journals. So, with this brief introduction, I would like to call Bhakti Bajpai Madam to give her expert talk on cell communication and cell signaling.
Okay. Thank you,
Madam,
Dr. Rana.
please.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all the students. And I was told that more than 300 were registered for the workshop. But with the days, as the days are passing by, the number of students interested are reducing. Garba may be one of the reasons. Since last 2 days, Navratri has also started. So in the morning also he was saying that the attendance was low, and PB हम देख सकते हैं कि just 24 students have joined. 24 are there, including all the faculty and other officials. So I hope that other students will also join in the process. So anyways, we'll start because it is already 2 o'clock. So I will start with the presentation, with the lecture, and Dr. Rana has given me topic cell communication and cell signaling. This is quite a vast topic, and in fact I'm quite nervous at how I'm going to cover this such a vast topic in just 2 hours. Okay, so best of luck to all of you as well as to me. Thank you, Rana. So I'll start the class now. So everyone can see the slide. Rana sir, slide you can see, and
Yes,
I'm
yes,
also
madam.
audible.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
madam. Now please change it, so we'll check it. Yes, yes, madam. It's
अच्छा
working.
राणा सर
Yes,
एक
madam.
बार आप मतलब कैन यू प्लीज कम डाउन
Yeah, sure. I will.
Okay, so first we will start with the cell addition. First we will study about the cell addition molecule, and when we will study about the cell addition molecule, we'll also about the extracellular matrix. So what is cell addition? This is through this process or through this mechanisms, the cells, they adhere to each other. We know that the smallest unit of our body is the cell. We are not talking about the molecules. We are not going to the molecular level, but the smallest unit is cell. And these cells together, they form tissues form organs, and organ system, right? So how these cells, they are held together in a tissue? Because when you see a mass of tissue, you see it is a solid structure. So how the individual cells, they are held together in a mass of tissue, because there is no cement which is, or some adhesive is present which is holding these cells together. So the cells are held together by interaction between various cell surface addition molecules. That means the cells, they express different types of these cell addition molecules, and through interaction between these cell addition molecules, the cells, they are held together. Now here
Ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am.
ऐसे तो किया हमने, अभी तो आ गया पर अभी नहीं आ रहा था। हम्म। Okay, so everyone can see the slide now. Again, I'll start. There was some technical problem, sorry for that. So, like I said, that how the cells are held together in a mass of tissue. So that is because of the interaction between the cell adhesion molecules, and they are present on the cell surface. And through interaction between these molecules, the cells, they stick to each other and also to the surroundings. So in the previous slide, I had written extracellular matrix. So through these molecules, not only the attachment between the cells is made, but through these cell adhesion molecules, cells are also attached to the matrix, which is present outside the cell, and it is called as the ECM or the extracellular matrix. Now, these adhesion molecules, they play important role in cell communication, regulation, and they are very much important in the development as well as the maintenance of the tissues. So basically, the cell adhesion molecules, besides adhering the cells together, holding the cells together or attaching them to the ECM, they will also regulate various phenomena like cell differentiation, cell cycle, cell migration, and cell survival. Now, changes in the cell adhesion can be a defining event. So now if there is any defect in the expression of the cell adhesion molecule, it can lead to wide range of diseases, including arthritis, atherosclerosis, osteoporosis, cancer, etc. So cell adhesion is very much important for the normal functioning. Now, mostly they are glycoproteins are present on the cell surface, and these are typically transmembrane receptors. So they are attached to the cell, so they are transmembrane, and they have three domains: intracellular domain, which is present inside the cell, and within the cytoplasm, then it interacts with the cytoskeleton, like actin or the intermediate filaments, etc. Then transmembrane domain, where it interacts with the cell adhesion molecules, and extracellular domain with extracellular matrix. So extracellular domain is present outside the cell, through which it will interact with the other cells as well as with the extracellular matrix. Now, CAMs are involved in binding to the other cells as well as the ECM. So these are some of the important functions of the CAM, and therefore, if there is any defect in the CAM, so there will be these kinds of the disorders which may occur. Now, classification of CAMs. So they belong to 5 major protein families: cadherins, immunoglobulin superfamily, or CAMs, ICAMs, selectins, integrins, and mucins. In many cases, you will find that mucin is not included as the type of the CAM, but जो integrins होते हैं, they interact with the mucins because basically mucins are carbohydrate-rich molecules. So here you can see that these are the 5 types of the cell adhesion molecules, and how they interact with the cell adhesion molecule present on the other cell. So here 2 types of the interactions have been defined: homophilic and the heterophilic. Homophilic means when the cell adhesion molecule present on the 2 cells, they are of the same type. That is, like here you can see it is the cadherin, example of cadherin. So cadherin present on one cell is interacting with the cadherin present on the other cell. So this is called as a homophilic interaction. That is, both type of the cell adhesion molecules on the 2 different cells, they are of the same type. Same way, here you can see the example of ICAM, NCAM है, neural CAM का example है, and it is also an example of homophilic interaction because same type of the CAM is present on both the cells. Now these are the selectins. यहाँ पे p-selectin का example show किया है, and it is interacting with the carbohydrate. So like I said, mucins are carbohydrates. So selectins, they interact with the carbohydrate part of the mucin. Then integrins are there, they interact with the fibronectin or with the cytoskeleton. And integrin, you can see that it is the heterophilic interaction because the interacting molecules on the 2 cells, they are of not the same type but 2 different types. In case of selectin, it is selectin and mucin. In case of integrin, it is integrin with fibronectin. So this is the example. These last two are the examples of the heterophilic interactions. So just now I discussed homophilic as well as the heterophilic interactions. Okay, so first we'll start with the ICHEM, that is the immunoglobulin superfamily cell adhesion molecule. Now what is immunoglobulin superfamily? You must have studied the structure of the antibody molecules, which are called as immunoglobulin. And you know that they have constant domain and variable domain. Each of these domains, they have characteristic immunoglobulin fold structure, which resembles a sandwich. So now any उनमें जो antibody molecule में जो domain है, which is called as the immunoglobulin domain. So any protein which contains a structural structure similar to the immunoglobulin domain is classified as the member of the immunoglobulin superfamily. So in case of the ICHEM, we will see. You can see here in the slide that here the domain structures are seen. जो इसका ICHEM का extracellular domain है. This is the intracellular part, transmembrane part, and this is the extracellular part. And the extracellular part is made up of two different domains. Fibronectin domain hai, fibronectin repeats hai, and then the immunoglobulin domain. And the two ICHEM molecule on the two cells, they interact through the free and terminal end through their immunoglobulin folds. So यहाँ पे जो loop structure है, that is called as the immunoglobulin fold. So therefore these molecules are called as the ICHEM. Or it is a जो ICHEM molecule है, it is a single alpha helix that crosses the membrane. And this is intracellular, and the extracellular domain is made up of two types of the domain, that is the fibronectin and the immunoglobulin. Now, what is the significance of these ICHEM molecule? They are expressed in the apical membrane of the endothelial cells. So endothelial cells which are lining the which are present as the innermost lining of the blood cells, they express the ICHEM1 molecule. And when there is any invading pathogen, the endothelial cells become activated and they will start more expression of the ICHEM1 molecule on their surface. And these ICHEM1 molecules, then they will interact with the LFA1 present on the expressed on the monocytes, and they will allow the monocytes to cross the endothelial layer and enter the tissue. Now this crossing of the innermost lining of the blood vessels by these cells or the leukocytes and entering into the or migrating into the tissue is called as the extravasation. So this you must have studied in your immunology, that through interaction, through the changed expression and interaction between the cell adhesion molecules, जो cells हैं, blood cells हैं, leukocytes हैं, which are present in the blood and they are flowing along with the blood flow, they can stop, they can cross the barrier provided by the endothelial cells by squeezing between them and enter the tissue. Once they are inside the tissue, they follow the chemotactic gradient. जो भी cytokines release हुए हैं at the site of the pathogen entry or whatever the injury is there, and following that chemical gradient, they go up to the target site and there then they bring about their effect. So the ICHEM molecule, they interact with the LFA1 present on the monocytes and they help in the extravasation of monocytes from blood into the tissue. And you know that monocytes, once they enter the tissue, they differentiate into the macrophages, which is one of the important type of the phagocytic cell. So here you can see that these are the examples of different types of the CHEM. यहाँ पे NCHEM का भी example दिखाया हुआ है. So these are the immunoglobulin-like fold structure, and these are the fibronectin type 3 domain. So I said in case of the ICHEM molecule, towards the N-terminal end, immunoglobulin fold structure is there, and then the fibronectin type 3 domains होते हैं जो कि repeated होते हैं. Now we will see that the second class हम लोग ने देखा था ICHEM के बाद, they were the cadherins. Cadherins and then ICHEMs are there. So ICHEM and cadherin both are expressed on the same cells. They are frequently expressed on the same cell. But the adhesion which is mediated by cadherin, they are much stronger as compared to the adherence which is offered by the ICHEM molecule. So ICHEM का काम क्या होता है? Cells को slow down करना होता है, because they are moving very fast along with the blood flow, and if the cell has to enter the tissue from the blood, first it will have to slow down, then it will have to make new connections with the molecules present on the endothelial cell, and then through extravasation it can enter the tissue. So the interaction with the ICAM molecule slow down the movement of the cells, but the interaction with the cadherins completely stops the cell, which is called as the arrest status. Now the NCAM and the other members of the immunoglobulin family, they contribute more to the fine tuning of these adaptive interactions during development and regeneration. तो जो नर्व कैम है और इस फैमिली के जो दूसरे मेंबर्स हैं, not only they have role in the migration of the cell during the inflammation or the infection, but also they have an important role during the important role in the migration of cells during the development as well as the regeneration. Now, another example of the ICAM is the VCAM. They are also expressed in the apical membrane of the endothelial cell, and they interact with the VLA4. That is the very late antigen 4, which are also expressed on the monocytes. And again, here the same function is there. That is, they will help the monocyte to enter into the tissue during some infection, etc. Now, another example is the PCAM, that is platelet endothelial cell adhesion. Now, here you can see that the endothelial cells, they possess three types of junctions. We'll study about tight and adherent junction later on. But here you can see tight junctions are there, then adherent junctions are there, and then the homotypic PCAM junctions are there, where the PCAM molecules on the two different cells that are interacting with each other. ये endothelial cell है, ये उसकी basal side है, ये उसकी apical side है, and they show the homophilic binding. Now another cell adhesion molecule is integrin. Now integrin is like in case of ICAM, we have seen it was made up of a single polypeptide chain, and it showed the presence of the immunoglobulin fold structure. Integrin है, उसमें क्या है? It is made up of two subunits, alpha and the beta, and there are 18 alpha and 8 beta subunit types. So 18 different types of alpha chains are there, and 8 different types of the beta chains are there. But only 24 types are found in the human body. Now, different combinations of this alpha and beta chains will be there, but in case of the human body, only 24 types of the integrin are there. And the integrins, they have a large extracellular domain, single membrane spanning alpha helix, and very small intracellular domain, which you can see that in case of the beta cell, it is almost negligible. So LFA1, it is an example of integrin, and it is made up of alpha 11 or beta 2 polypeptide chains, and also alpha L and the beta 2. They are the similar type of the polypeptide chains. And LFA1, they are found on all leukocytes and mainly on the monocyte. Just now we have seen how the LFA1 interacts with the ICAM1 during extravasation. Now another VLA4 is there, which interacts with the cell adhesion molecules present on the leukocytes, endothelial cells, and VLA4 is also found on the surface of the monocyte. Now, the integrins, they are involved in the cell-to-cell adhesion, like we have seen that they are very much, these interactions are very much important during the inflammation or any infection, where the recruitment of the immune cells from the blood vessel into the tissue is required. Besides that, the integrin, they also play very important role in connecting the cells or in attaching the cells to the extracellular matrix, that is the ECM. So these are the two integrins which are involved in connecting the cells or attaching the endothelial cells to the ECM. Integrin bind directly to the collagen. So these types of the integrins, alpha 1, beta 1, alpha 2, beta 1, they directly bind to the collagen. Whereas these are some of the integrins like alpha 5, beta 1, they first bind to the fibronectin, and the fibronectin is then attached to the collagen. So integrins, they are very important in the attachment of the cell to the extracellular cell matrix. And you can see that they are attaching to the collagen or the fibronectin through their extracellular domain. Then the transmembrane domain is there, and the intracellular domain of the integrins, they are attached to various proteins like tallins, then viscolin, and then they are also attached to the actin and the myosin filaments. So we can see that the integrins, they are responsible for connecting the cells with the ECM and also internally with the cytoskeleton of the cell. So like I said that the integrins, they are very much important in fixing the epithelial cell to the basement membrane. So here you can see that these are the integrins which are responsible for attaching the cells to the basal lamina or the basement membrane. And we will see that this structure which is formed by the integrin, it is called as the hemidesmosome. Or within the basement membrane, you can see that the anchorin filaments are also there, collagen is there. So they are attaching the cell to the ECM and they are also making contact with the, within the cell, they are making contact with the actin filament or the intermediate filaments. Selectins. So selectins are a family of divalent cation dependent glycoproteins. They are carbohydrate binding proteins. And the members include E-selectin, L-selectin, and P-selectin. And they also play important role in many host defense mechanisms. So like in case of ICAM and integrin, we have seen that they play important role in the host defense mechanism by recruiting the cells from the blood vessel into the tissues. Same way, the selectins, they also play important role in many host defense mechanisms. So this is the structure of the selectin which is present on the platelet. It is called as P-selectin and the expression of these selectins will be more in case of some inflammation or the infection. So it has got long extracellular domain in which the EGF-like domain is there and terminally lectin domain is there. Now what are lectins? Lectins are the proteins which bind with high affinity to the carbohydrates. So the selectins through their lectin domain, they interact with the mucin or they interact with the carbohydrates like sialyl acid residue. Now here also transmembrane portion is there and then the cytoplasmic domain is there which is attached with the anchor proteins and these anchor proteins are then attached to the actin filament. So here also you can see that the interaction of the selectins with the carbohydrates, they are responsible or they help in the movement of the cells from white blood cells from the blood into the tissue and again it is called as the extravasation. So initially the weak addition is there, so the cell will be rolling on the endothelial cell and when the integrin dependent addition is there, integrin and cadherin, so strong type of addition will there that will result in the arrest of the cell and finally the immigration where the interaction between the endothelial cells will be less and more interaction will be there between the squeezing cell and the endothelial cell and therefore the two endothelial cells will separate and the WBC, it will squeeze from between the two cells and enter the tissue. So P-selectin, E-selectin, and they all have role in the extravasation of the cell from blood into the tissue. P-selectins are present on the platelet and normally their expression is low, but when there is some inflammation, their expression will increase. So they provide for the type 1 activation, which is induced by the histamine and induced in minutes. So within minutes, when the histamines are released during the inflammation, the expression of the P-selectin will increase many times. Now type 2 activation, it takes hours और जो E-selectin है, it takes more time for its activation and they are found on the endothelial cells and they bind to the sialyl Lewis X always found on the surface of the neutrophil. So they help in the movement of the neutrophil. You can see the neutrophils here. They are the multi-lobed, they have multi-lobe nuclei. So they tether the neutrophil and then the neutrophil squeezes between the endothelial cells and enter the tissue. And as you know, the cell the first cell to reach the target site in case of inflammation or the some infection, it is the neutrophil. तो सबसे पहले जो है neutrophil extravasate करती हैं, monocytes हैं and the lymphocytes are also there. But the lymphocytes, they show extravasation through the high endothelial venules which are present towards the end of the capillaries. And through these HEV or high endothelial cells, they enter from the blood into the lymph nodes. And also this is the same site through which again they go back into the blood. So here you can see long columnar cells which lightly stain nucleus, that is actually the endothelial cells, and they are called as the high endothelial cells, HEV. And these are the sites through which the T lymphocytes, it will enter the lymph node. और ये जो dark stained nuclei हैं, they are of actually T cells. Now cadherin. So like ICAM, then selectin, integrants. So cadherins, and they are also cell adhesion molecule, and they have extracellular, transmembrane, and intracellular domain. And through extracellular domain, they will interact with they will provide the focal adhesion properties. Now there can be 1 to 34 extracellular domain. So smallest one will have a single extracellular domain, but the largest one can have at least 34 extracellular domains. And all cadherin are a transmembrane protein except T cadherin. You can see this is the T cadherin. It doesn't have the transmembrane or the intracellular domain, but it is attached to the membrane through the GPI anchor. So these are different types of the cadherins, and though they all have almost same function, that is they are involved in the cell adhesion, but in different cell types, or different types of the cadherins are also there. Cadherins are there. So classical cadherin is E cadherin, like just now we have seen the structure. Fat-like cadherin, it has got a very long extra cellular domain, and you can see in this different types of domains are there. EGF domain is there, fibronectin domain is there, etc. So multiple type of domains are present in case of the fat cadherin. Then 7-pass transmembrane cadherin. So in these first two cases, we have seen that the polypeptide, it crosses the membrane only once, but in the multipass, it crosses many times. So it is 7-pass, and this is called as the flamingo. This is the example of the flamingo cadherin, in which besides the cadherin repeats, other types of the domains are also there. Then protein kinase cadherin, where in the cytoplasmic domain, it has got protein kinase activity. Desmosol cadherin. We will see that desmocolin and desmophilin, these are two types of the desmosomal cadherin, which are involved in forming the desmosomes, which are a type of the adherent junction. And cadherin 23, protocadherin, and this is the T cadherin, where you can see that the intracellular domain is absent. So this is the structure of the cadherin, and you can see that it is actually a calcium dependent cell adhesion molecule, that is to remain in the erect form and to interact with the cadherin present on the other cell. It requires the presence of the calcium ion. So actually इसका extracellular domain क्या है? Cadherin repeats are there, जो तुमको domain दिख रहा है, they are actually cadherin repeats, and they are separated by the cadherin repeats are separated or joined by the flexible hinge region. और जो flexible hinge region है, it remains in the intact form or the erect form by binding by the calcium ions. At least it requires the binding by 2 calcium ions, because if the calcium ions are not bound to the hinge region, it becomes floppy, and cadherin is not able to interact with the cadherin molecule present on the other cell. So here you can see that the cadherin on one cell is interacting with the cadherin on the other cell through their N-terminal end, and they are able to interact only when they are present in this form, and this form is possible only when the hinge region is bound by at least 2 calcium ions. So these cadherins are very much important in the cell-to-cell adhesion, okay? Cell-cell adhesion, and you can see that there will be large number of the cadherins interacting with each other in parallel. So they are forming a Velcro-like structure. कि बहुत सारे जो cadherin interactions हैं, it is taking place. So in the adherent junction, we will see that this Velcro-like structure is present, where many cadherins are interacting with each other in parallel. Now, cadherin dependent cell sorting. So we know that during growth and development, After the cells are produced, they are differentiated, then the cell migration occurs, and the migration also involves the cell sorting, so that the similar type of the cells, they will moving to a particular site, and together they will form a particular tissue. So that is also cadherin dependent, cell expressing E-cadherin. So all the cells is expressing E-cadherin, they will come together, so that the other cells, they will be now present on the periphery. So this is, and in this case, it is expressing the N-cadherin. So depending upon the type of the cadherin expressed, sorting of the cells can occur, in which the cells having the same cadherin molecule, they will assemble together. So in cell adhesion molecules, we have seen extracellular domains are there through which they attach to the other cell, transmembrane, and then the intracellular domains are there. Now intracellular domain, it is bound to the P120 protein and also alpha and the beta catenin. And through this alpha and beta catenin, it is attached to the actin filaments. So cadherins are coupled indirectly to the actin filament. So cadherin, they are attached to the actin filament, but not directly. They are attached to the actin filament through alpha and the beta catenin. And then there's a third intracellular protein, which is called as a P20. It also binds to the cadherin cytoplasmic tail and regulates the cadherin function. So T-cadherin, we have already seen that, this was the example of the E-cadherin, the classical cadherin. E-cadherin, no transmembrane or intracellular domain is there. It is attached to the GPI anchor, and various modifications of the GPI anchor are possible. Now desmosomal cadherin. So I told you कि जो desmosomal cadherin है, they are responsible for forming the desmosome. Desmosome is what? This is the desmosome, structure of desmosome. Now it is an example of the cell junction, through which the two cells, they are attached to each other. Junctions are, and because of these junctions, they are also communicating with each other. So two types of the desmosomal cadherins are there, desmocolin and desmoglin. So two types of the cadherins are there, desmoglin and desmocolin, and their intracellular domain, they are attached to the anchor proteins, and these are plakoglobin and plakophilin. Now these anchor proteins together, they form the cytoplasmic plaque. ये जो red color का दिख रहा है, this is called as the cytoplasmic plaque, and it is made up of anchor proteins. So in case of the desmosome, anchor proteins कौन से हैं? The plakoglobin and plakophilin. Now here, like I said, cadherins, they are not directly attached to the actin filament or the intermediate filament. They are attached to some protein. In this particular, in case of desmosome, they are attached to the desmoplakin. So this is the structure of the desmosome cadherins, and they are of two types, desmoglin and desmocolin. Intracellular domain is attached to the anchor proteins, plakoglobin, plakophilin, which is formed the cytoplasmic plaque. And this cytoplasmic plaque पे के ऊपर, then the filaments will be there. It can be actin filament, it can be intermediate filament, and they are attached to the cytoplasmic plaque through the desmoplakin. So like we have seen, this is the cell junction, which is called as the desmosome, in which the two cells, they are interacting with each other, and between the two cells always there will be some gap, because कोई filling material वहाँ है नहीं, they are held together only by cell to cell interaction. So this is provided by the cadherin proteins. Then the intracellular proteins, they are to anchor proteins, and they are forming the cytoplasmic plaque. To the cytoplasmic plaque, intermediate filaments are attached, and these intermediate filaments are made up of keratin filaments. They are made up of keratin. So they are attached to the cytoplasmic plaque. So you can see that the desmosome, it helps in connecting the intermediate filaments of one cell with the intermediate filaments of the other cell. So that when there is some stretching or some stress on the cell, the stretch or the stress will be transferred from one cell to the another cell through these intermediate filaments. Mucin, like I said, it is basically rich in the carbohydrate and therefore they interact with the selectin. They interact with the lectin domain of the selectin. So mucins are the group of serine and threonine-rich protein and hydroxyproline enabling post-translation O-glycosylation. So these proteins, they are heavily O-glycosylated. So just now we have studied this different types of the interactions. Cadherin है, homophilic interaction है, ICAM है, homophilic interaction है. Then selectins, they interact with the carbohydrate. So this is a heterophilic interaction. Then integrins, they interact with the ICAM or they interact with the ECM. So this is example of heterophilic interaction. So these cell adhesion molecules, they are involved in the cell-to-cell interaction. Also, they have various role in the cell migration, etc. And if there is any defect in these molecule, it can lead to some serious diseases like breast cancer, leukocyte adhesion deficiency, in which the extravasation or the recruitment of the immune cells into the tissue cannot occur, or the epithelial cell cancer. Now, types of cell junctions. Now, these types of cell junctions, they provide for long-term communication between the cells. Now, just to give you an idea, you know that you have an idea about the cytoskeletal of our body or the cell. So you can see different types of the molecules here. Intermediate filaments, which form a network-like structure throughout the cell. Then microtubules, they are present also across the cell, and they will be attached to the desmosome, hemidesmosome. And the actin filaments, they are present mainly close to the plasma membrane. So microfilaments or the actin filaments, same thing. Monomer units are called as a G-actin. They polymerize to form the F-actin. And their role is the maintenance of cell shape, movement, contractility, etc. Intermediate filaments, they may be made up of keratin, and they are important in the maintenance of cell shape and contact between adjacent cells. तो अभी हमने तुमको दिखाया कि in case of desmosome, intermediate filaments of one cell, they are attached to the intermediate filaments of other cell through desmosome, so that they can pass on the stress from one cell to another. So microtubules, which are also present across the cell, they provide internal support for cell and are the basis of motility for certain organelles. Okay, so these are different types of these cell junctions. So this slide, it will give you an overview of different types of these cell junctions which are present. सबसे ऊपर जो दिख रहा है, which is present towards the apical side of the cell, जो endothelial cell है या जो मतलब epithelial cell का modified endothelial cell है. So this is the apical part, this is the basal part, and this is the basal lamina. So tight junctions are present towards the upper part of towards the apical part of the cell, and their function is to seal gap between the epithelial cells. Like here you can see that when we see the cells if you will take the cross section of the blood vessel, you will see that the endothelial lining is there, and it will appear to you as if the cells, they are closely packed. There is no gap between the adjacent cell, but actually it is not so. There is some gap between the two cells, and these cells, they are held together by interaction between the cell adhesion molecules that I've just explained to you. In different type of the cells, different type of the cell adhesion molecules are there. Same way here you can see different type of the cell junctions, but not all the type of the cell junctions, they will be present in all the types. In some cell types, a particular type may predominant as compared to the other cell type. जैसे ये हम लोग टाइट जंक्शन दिखा रहे हैं, उसका काम क्या है? This is the apical portion of the endothelial cell दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे ऊपर ब्लड वेसल क्या है, यहाँ पे ब्लड है इसके ऊपर और नीचे टिश्यू है लोअर साइड पे ना, ये बेसल साइड है इसकी, बेसल लैमिना, बेसमेंट मेम्ब्रेन एंड कनेक्टिव टिश्यू. So tight junction का function क्या है, that it will not allow the seepage of the liquid from the upper part of the from the gap which is present between the cell. So the upper portion जो perimeter है cell का, that is sealed by the presence of the tight junction so that no liquid can pass from the apical part of the cell and enter into the tissue. So this type of the junctions will be more predominant in case where the liquid layer is separated from the tissues, like in case of blood. So tight junction seals gap between the epithelial cells. Then adherent junction connects actin filament bundle in one cell with that in the other, in the next cell. So like in case of intermediate filament, we have seen that the desmosome, they are responsible for connecting the intermediate filament of the two cells. Same way here also, these are the anchoring junctions and or the adherent junctions, and they are responsible for connecting the actin filament of the two cells. Then gap junctions are there, which allow the passage of a small water-soluble molecule from one cell to another cell. And then the cell matrix or the anchoring junctions are there. और जो ये cell matrix anchoring junctions हैं, they are present in the basal part of the cell, which helps in connecting the endothelial cell to the ECM or to the basal lamina. So here also, and this structure is called as the hemidesmosome. यहाँ पे desmosome कहते हैं because the same structure is present on the adjacent cell also, but in this case only the basal part of the cell will have this structure, while basal lamina or the ECM, it will have some different structure, so it is called as the hemidesmosome. So like desmosome, here also the hemidesmosome, they will provide the binding site for actin filaments as well as for the intermediate filaments. So this is again in the tabular form, same thing. So anchoring junctions hai, occluding junctions hai, there are channel forming junctions and the signal relaying junctions. Anchoring junctions क्या है, actin filament sites हैं, ठीक है, actin filament attachment sites. Now these actin filament attachment sites, as we have seen, दो जगह present हैं, cell to cell and cell and ECM. So cell-cell junctions, which is called as adherent junction, and cell matrix junction, which is actin link cell matrix adhesion. Then intermediate filament attachment site. So it is also present cell to cell and cell with ECM. So cell-cell junctions in desmosome and cell matrix junction in the hemidesmosome. Now occluding junction, so it is tight junctions which occludes the liquid, does not allow the passage of the liquid, and this is called as the tight junction in vertebrate, and it is called as septate junctions in invertebrates. Then channel forming junctions. These are the channel forming junctions which allow the passage of the small water soluble molecule between them, and in case of the bird animals, it is called as gap junctions, whereas the same function is performed by the Plasmodesmata in plants. Now another type of the junction is called as the signal relaying junction, which is present in the chemical synapse, where the two nerve cells, they are interacting, and the signal in the form, chemical signal in the form of acetylcholine is passed on from one cell to the next cell in the chemical synapses. Similarly, the immunological synapses are formed when there is some immune. Okay, so gap junctions are present in most cell tissues, including connective tissue and epithelia. So I have told you about all the different types of junctions, and I also told you that in different types of the cell, the combination of the junctions present and the frequency of a particular junction may vary depending upon the location and the function of that particular cell. Now, gap junctions allow communication between neighboring cells, and the two adjacent cells are separated by a uniform narrow gap of around 2 to 4 nanometer. तो जहाँ पे गैप जंक्शंस प्रेजेंट होती हैं, तो दोनों सेल्स के बीच में डिस्टेंस कितनी होती है, 2 to 4 नैनोमीटर होता है, और ये जो gap है, that is spanned by the channel forming the proteins. And there are two distinct families of the proteins which form these channels, connexins and inexins. So suppose this is one cell membrane, ये दूसरा सेल मेम्ब्रेन है और ये दोनों सेल के बीच में गैप है और दोनों सेल्स आपस में कैसे अटैच्ड हैं? थ्रू चैनल, हॉलो चैनल्स। और ये चैनल किसने फॉर्म किया है? प्रोटीन्स ने, which are called as the gap junctions. So these proteins, they may be connexins or they may be inexins. Now in case of the vertebrates, connexins proteins, they predominate. So gap junction connexon is made up of 6 transmembrane connexin subunits. So here you can see that in each of the cells, various connexins will polymerize. So ये एक single connexin है. This is the connexon which will be present on one cell, and each connexon is made up of 6 connexins. And when the connexon of one cell is continuous with the connexon of the other cell, it will result in the formation of the intercellular channel. So here you can see that various connexons are present on one cell and various connexons are present in the plasma membrane of other cell. Wherever the connexons in both the cells, they are aligned. If they are present at the same site, they will be aligned together and a channel will be formed between the two cells. Here you can see that connexon is present in one of the cell, but the corresponding connexon in the other cell is missing. So it cannot result in the intercellular channel formation. Now all the subunits present in the connexon, they may be same or they may be of different type. Same way, the intercellular channel which is formed, it may be of same type of the connexons or different types of the same type of connexons or different types of connexons, and accordingly homotypic or heterotypic. So what are the functions? I have seen many of these CSR questions. So frequently the questions are asked about these connexins as well as the gap junctions. Now in electrically coupled cells like nerve cells, they allow action potential to spread rapidly from the cell to cell. So they help, these junctions, they help in sharing metabolites in other cells. Now in case of the plant cells, plasmodesmata are there, which helps in communication between the cells and also the movement of the small inorganic molecules. And in case of the plants, no anchoring proteins are there because we know that in plant cell, the ECM is very much rich in cellulose and the other polysaccharides like lignin or the hemicellulose, and they are responsible for holding various plant cells together. So the cellulose or the different types of the extracellular carbohydrates, polysaccharides which are found in case of plant, that is actually the ECM. So in case of the plants, they communicate through the plasmodesmata. So you can see that this is the plant cells, and you can see the gap in the cell wall through which the movement of the small metabolite or the inorganic ions can occur between the cells so that the homogeneity is maintained in the environment in all the cells. They all will be growing synchronously, etc. And within the plasmodesmata, there's a cylindrical structure which is called as the desmotubule. And this desmotubule, it is continuous with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Actually, what happens at the time of the cell wall formation, the cell wall material, it starts gathering around the endoplasmic reticulum. So some part of the endoplasmic reticulum gets trapped between the cell wall, and that results in the formation of the plasmodesmata containing desmotubule, which was actually the part of the endoplasmic reticulum earlier. Chemical synapse, like I told you, it is signal relaying junctions, which is present in the chemical synapse. For example, in the transmission of signals from nerve cell to another cell in the form of acetylcholine. So you just saw the structure of the desmosome. Now this is the hemidesmosome, which helps in anchoring the epithelial cells to the ECM or the plasma membrane, to the basal membrane. So here you can see that integrins are there, and integrins are there, and they are attached with the collagen directly or through fibronectin, and these are the intracellular part of the integrins, where they are attached to various anchoring proteins, and these anchoring proteins together they form the cytoplasmic plaque, and to this cytoplasmic plaque intermediate filaments are attached. So this is the magnified portion from here. And this is the structure of the desmosome that we have just studied. So these are the interacting cadherins. Then these are the plasma membrane of two different cells. This is the cytoplasmic plaque, which is made up of anchor proteins. And like we have seen through desmoplakin, the anchor proteins, they are attached to the intermediate filament. So these are intermediate filaments, which may be made up of keratin sulfate. So this was all about the cell adhesion molecule. Now I will start with the extra basal lamina and the ECM. Okay. Now here you can see that we have already studied by the cell adhesion molecule. क्या चल रहा नहीं दिख रहा है दिख रहा है I hope everyone can see the presentation.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So epithelial cells, we have already seen that how they are attached with each other through cell adhesion molecules, and at the time of the extravasation, they separates, and the WBC, it squeezes itself between the two cells and enter the tissue. Okay, now beneath the epithelium, or we can say that the endothelial cells, they rest on a layer which is called as the basal lamina, and after that the connective tissue is there. And in fact, the basal lamina actually works to separate the endothelial cells from the connective tissue. Now, connective tissue, actually, it is a part of the, it is an example of the extracellular matrix. So connective tissue, it will have many matrix proteins, and these extracellular matrix, they are actually secreted by the cells which are present in them. And when we take the example of the connective tissue, in this case, the predominant cell type is the fibroblast. So in case of the connective tissue, the ECM is mostly secreted by the fibroblast, which consists of different types of proteins and the carbohydrates, including proteoglycans, hyaluronan, etc. And also you can see that the capillary is there, elastin protein is there, mast cells are there. So now we will study about the basal lamina and the ECM. So first we'll discuss the extracellular matrix. So variety of cells and the biomolecules are present in the extracellular matrix. Now these extracellular matrix, again in different part of the body, it may vary, because like you know that Extracellular matrix become calcified to form the rock hard structure of the bone or teeth. तो जो bone या teeth है, जो हम लोग का hardness है, it is because of the calcification of the ECM there. ठीक है? Now same way, if you see the cornea, which is a transparent structure, so there the ECM is in the transparent form, or it can adopt a rope-like organization that give tendons their a normal tensile strength. Yeah, muscles में जो tendons हैं, they are covered with the ECM, which provides them enormous tensile strength. So you can see that in different cell types, which have got different functions, the composition or the structure, organization of the ECM, it may vary. At the interface between epithelium and connective tissue, the matrix forms a basal lamina. Now this ECM is only responsible for the forming the basal lamina, which is also very important in controlling the cell behavior, including the cell migration. So initially ECM was thought to serve mainly as the inert scaffold to stabilize the physical structure of the tissues. Inert scaffold, it was thought to be inert scaffold in which various cells migrate and then it forms the physical structure of the tissue. But now it is known that the ECM, it has got many important role and it influences the various phenomena like survival of cells, development, migration, proliferation, shape and function. And therefore it has got very complex molecular composition. So the molecules, macromolecules that form the ECM, they are basically produced locally by the cells which are present in the matrix. Like in case of the connective tissue, I said the main cell type which is present in CT is are the fibroblasts which secrete the ECM. But in some special tissues such as cartilage and bone, they are secreted by cells of fibroblast family that have more specific name. Now the fibroblast family cells in cartilage and bone, they are called as chondroblast, which forms the cartilage, and the osteoblast, which form the bone. So the ECM is made up of two classes of the macromolecule like polysaccharides and fibrous protein, और जो polysaccharide chains of the class, तो इसमें जो polysaccharide chains है वो किस class को? They belong the GAGs, that is the glycosamine glycans, glycosaminoglycan and fibrous protein. Now why they are called as the glycosaminoglycan? Because the proteins are frequently found to be linked to a proteoglycans, क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो carbohydrates हैं, they are linked to the protein in the form of the proteoglycan, and जो fibrous proteins हैं उनके examples क्या हैं? Collagen है, elastin है, fibronectin है, laminin, etc. And these proteins, they have both structural as well as the adhesive. So when we say the adhesive, like collagen hai, fibronectin hai, so we have seen that they have role in cell to cell adhesion, whereas the laminin or the elastin, they have different structural functions. So what are glycosaminoglycans? They are unbranched polysaccharide chain composed of repeating disaccharide chain units. Now they are called GAGs because one of the two sugars in the repeating disaccharide unit is always a amino sugar. Why they are called as the aminoglycan? Glycosaminoglycan. यानी कि they GAGs are made up of two types of sugar, out of which one type of the sugar is always an amino sugar. For example, N-acetyl glucosamine or N-acetyl galactosamine. Whereas the second sugar is usually a uronic acid. It can be glucuronic acid or iduronic acid. So GAGs are made up of amino sugar and the uronic acid, and therefore they are called as glycosaminoglycans. Now because they are a sulfate or carboxyl group or most of their sugars, GAGs are highly negative charge. We will see that the GAGs, they are made up of sugars which have either iduronic acid or carboxyl group or the sulfate group on them, and therefore they are most negative anionic molecules which are produced by these cells. So there are four groups of the GAGs which are classified on the basis of their sugar, the type of the linkage present between the sugar and the number and the location of the sulfate groups. So the four types are hyaluronan, chondroitin sulfate and dermatan sulfate, heparin sulfate and keratin sulfate. So this is the example of the dermatan sulfate, GAG. Now these chains are typically 70 to 200 sugars long, okay? And in this case, you can see that the dermatan sulfate, it is made up of repeating unit, disaccharide unit, which consists of iduronic acid and N-acetyl galactosamine 4 sulfate. So like I said, कि जो GAGs हैं, they are the most anionic molecules produced by the cells because they have carbohydrate groups as well as the sulfate groups present on them. So carboxyl group is present on iduronic acid and sulfate groups are present on the N-acetyl galactosamine 4 sulfate. So in different types of the GAGs, the number and the location of the sulfate groups as well as the carboxyl group, it may vary. Now, since the polysaccharides, GAGs are basically polysaccharides, see? Okay. Now, in case, so they're monomer of, like here we have seen that they are made up of repeating disaccharide subunits. Like polypeptide chains, they are made up of amino acids, right? So polypeptide chains होती हैं, once they are translated, they are produced, they fold into tightly and form the globular structure. Now, this type of the folding is not possible in case of the polysaccharide chain because they are too stiff to hold. And also, they are typically hydrophilic. जबकि जो proteins होते हैं, उनके जो amino acids होते हैं, they are mixture है, उसमें hydrophilic, hydrophobic दोनों है. So when the folding occurs, the hydrophobic amino acids, they occupy the interior of the protein, whereas the hydrophobic groups, they are present outside. पर यहाँ पर क्या है कि ये पूरा का पूरा हाइड्रोफिलिक है, तो none of the residue will go towards the inner side of the folded structure. So it is very difficult to form the compact folded structure of polysaccharide. Now, if we compare the polysaccharide, GAG and the polypeptide, two molecules of the same molecular weight, you will see that the protein will occupy very small space, while the polysaccharide of the same molecular weight, they will occupy very large volume. Now, there is advantage of having this property because they are hydrophilic, they do not fold very compactly, they are present always as a loose mesh-like structure. So, and they are also very much rich in the negative charges. And therefore, they attract different type of the cations, especially the sodium ions, which are osmotically active. So once the cations are inside the this polysaccharide or the GAG, they will then attract the water, so that whole of the structure will be filled with the water, and it will form a gel-like structure. Now, this gel-like structure, it creates a swelling pressure or turgor that enables the matrix to withstand compressive forces. क्योंकि अब इसमें जो gap है, that has been filled with the water and it has become a gel-like. So it will provide some stress or pressure over it. It will not break down. It will absorb the pressure. It will show resilience. Now, so they can easily withstand the compressive forces. In contrast to collagen fibrils, which resist stretching forces. Now, suppose instead of these polysaccharides, if the polypeptides are there, like collagen fibrils, and if the pressure is provided on them, if there are high pressure is provided on them, they cannot stretch and they will break down. But these polysaccharides, since they are very resilient, they form the gel-like structure. So if the pressure or stress is provided on them, they will not break down. In fact, they will absorb the pressure and they will show the resilience. That is, they may show stretching and then they will go back to their original shape. So the cartilage matrix that lies in the knee joint, for example, can support pressures of hundreds of atmospheres in this way. We all know that our knee joint, they bear whole of our body pressure. हम लोग कितना भी खा पी के मोटे होते रहते हैं और अपने knees पर we are putting extra pressure on our knee joints. And though eventually the knee joints give up, जो cartilage है वो wear tear हो जाता है, and then the fusion of the joints or the arthritis start. But to the maximum possible extent. जो cartilage होता है bone का, it tries to absorb the pressure which has been put on it because it is made up of, it is rich in the polysaccharide and therefore it can withstand the compressive forces. So here you can see, just now I have told you, if the protein of the same molecular weight are there, they look very small, but the polysaccharide, it occupies very large volume. The gags in connective tissue usually constitute less than 10% of the weight of the fibrous protein. So if you see the connective tissue, gag is present in very small amount, but like I said, they occupy more of the space or more volume, and therefore, since they form the porous hydrated gel, the gag chain fills most of the extracellular space, providing mechanical support to the tissue. So though the amount of gag in the connective tissue is very less, but it almost occupies most of the extracellular space. Now, in one rare human genetic disease, there's a severe deficiency in the synthesis of dermatan sulfate disaccharide, and these will be the symptoms. So, hyaluronan. This is a type of the gag, and it helps in the cell migration during tissue morphogenesis and repair. So, hyaluronan, it is also called as hyaluronic acid or hyaluronate, and this is the simplest type of the gag. Now, in the previous slides, you have seen that the gags, they are most anionic because they contain carboxyl group as well as the sulfate. But hyaluronan, they are unique in the sense that they don't have sulfated sugar, and also they are different from majority of the gags. They are also different from majority of the gags in other aspects also. We will see that they lack the core protein also. Now, in case of hyaluronan, all disaccharide units are identical, chain length enormous, and not linked covalently to any core protein. So we will see that in case of other gags, the disaccharide units are attached to some core protein, but such core proteins are not present in case of hyaluronan. So this is the structure of the hyaluronan, which is made up of repeating disaccharide unit of glucuronic acid and an acetyl glucosamine, and you can see that only carboxyl groups are there, sulfate groups are absent. So इसका main function क्या है? Resist compressive forces in tissues and joints, and it is also an important space filler during embryonic development, where it is used to force a change in the shape of a structure. जब उसका structure बन रहा है, as a small quantity expands with water to occupy a large volume. So this is synthesized from the basal side of the epithelium, and then it will occupy the space there. It will create a cell-free space in which the cells will subsequently migrate. And this time of the, तो यहाँ पर ये जो hyaluronan, it is providing the scaffold for the migration of the cell, and this actually occurs in the formation of heart, cornea, and several other organs. And when the cell migration ends, the excess hyaluronan is generally degraded by the enzyme hyaluronidase. So after hyaluronan, now the proteoglycans. So proteoglycans, like the name is there, okay, polysaccharides and also the proteins are there, but they are very much different from the other glycoproteins, and therefore it is an entirely different class of the glycoprotein, which are called as the proteoglycans. So, and generally the glycoproteins, they contain 1 to 60% carbohydrate, but proteoglycans, they contain as much as 95% carbohydrate by weight. So this is the structure of the proteoglycan. So in case of hyaluronan, I said it is unique in the sense that it lacks core protein and also the absence of the sulfate sugar, sulfate groups. Okay? But all other gags, they have a typical structure which is called as the core protein, and on the serine residue of this core protein, tetrasaccharide chain is attached, which is called as the linked tetrasaccharide. And when this link is attached, this acts as a primer on which the subsequent GAG units are added. And these GAG sugars or जो repeating sugars हैं, they are added one by specific glycosyl transferase enzyme. So this is the typical structure of any of the GAG except for the hyaluronan, because in case of hyaluronan, this whole structure is absent. So here in the last paragraph, you can see if it is chondroitin sulfate, the disaccharide is composed of D-glucuronic acid and N-acetyl D-galactosamine. If it is heparan sulfate, it is D-glucosamine and N-acetyl D-glucosamine. In keratin sulfate, it is D-galactose and N-acetyl D-glucosamine. Now, here are examples of small and the large proteoglycan. स्मॉल बहुत छोटे से छोटे हो सकते हैं, और जो लार्ज प्रोटियोग्लाइकन है उनमें नंबर ऑफ द डाइसैकराइड यूनिट कैन बी वेरी हाई. जो लार्ज गैग्स हैं they can have over जो large proteoglycan है, for example aggrecan, which is a major component of the cartilage, has a mass of about 3 into 10⁻⁶ Daltons with over 100 gag chains. और जबकि जो सबसे छोटा टाइप का प्रोटोग्लाइकन उसको डेकोरिन कहते हैं, और इसके ऊपर एक सिंगल गैग चेन भी हो सकती है और मैक्सिमम 10 गैग चेन्स कैन बी देयर. So this is decorin. You can see it is such a small protein. Core protein है, उसमें एक single gag chain है. Whereas aggrecan is a very large molecule, 3 into 10⁻⁶. In fact, ये इतना बड़ा है कि it is of the size of a bacterial cell. और इसके बीच में ये core protein है. So these proteoglycans, not only they form the part of the extracellular component, extracellular matrix, where they are present in the secreted form, but many of the proteins, proteoglycans, they are transmembrane or plasma membrane bound, and there they act as the co-receptor. So how these proteoglycans, they are attached to the membrane through the GPI anchor, and they act as the co-repressors. Syndecan. Syndecans are examples of the proteoglycan which acts as the co-receptor. So till now we have seen, we have studied about the carbohydrates which form the extracellular matrix, like we have seen GAGs, proteoglycans, etc. Okay. Now the proteins which are present in the ECM, and collagens are the major portion of the ECM, and they are secreted by the fibroblast. Now this is the structure of the collagen. So collagen is made up of alpha chain. Now different type of the alpha chains are there. So it is made up of alpha chain, and in a given collagen molecule, 3 alpha chains will be there. A typical collagen molecule is long, stiff, triple stranded. So a typical जो collagen molecule है, it will be made up of 3 alpha chains which are wound around each other in a rope-like superhelix. तो वो चारों तरफ एक दूसरे के लिपटी हुई हैं. And collagens are extremely rich in proline and glycine, both of which are important in the formation of triple stranded helix. जिसमें जो proline है, because it has got ring structure, stabilizes the helical conformation, and the glycine, that is the smallest type of the amino acid. So it provides some flexibility to the molecule so that the helix can rotate. So this is the structure of the collagen. So It is made up of three alpha chains. So this is structure of a single alpha chain. Here you can see three different color के alpha chains हैं. So there are three different types of alpha chain: alpha 1, alpha 2, and alpha 3. And each chain is about 1000 amino acids long. And as we have seen that these alpha chains, they are rich in amino acids like glycine, then proline, and hydroxyproline. So here you can see that XY can be any, and at every third position is occupied by glycine. So XY can be any amino acid, but most of the time it can be proline or hydroxyproline, and third amino acid is always glycine. So XY glycine, XY glycine. और जो glycine है, it occupies the interior of the triple helix, और जिसके कारण कि जो हेलिक्स है वो टाइटली बाइंड कर पाते हैं एक दूसरे को. So far 25 distinct collagen alpha chains have been identified, or because of different these alpha chains, 10,000 different types of triple stranded collagen molecules should be there. But till now, only about 20 types of the collagen molecules have been found. So possible है 10,000 है because 25 distinct alpha chains have been identified, but till now only 20 types of the collagen molecules have been identified, and they are present in different connective tissues and the different type of the tissues, and the main types of the collagen which is found in the connective tissue, they are type 1, type 2, type 3, 5, and 9. And type 1 being the principal collagen of skin and bone, and by far the most common. So skin और bone में सबसे predominant collagen कौन सा है? That is the type 1. And these are fibrillar collagen or fibril forming collagens with a rope-like structure. तो एक्चुअली कोलेजन को सिक्रेट कौन कर रहा है? फाइब्रोब्लास्ट सेल्स सिक्रेट कर रहा है. तो जब ये कोलेजन सिक्रेट होता है तो जो कोलेजन मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं दे असेंबल टुगेदर एंड दे फॉर्म कोलेजन फाइब्रिल्स, एंड these collagen fibrils then they aggregate together to form cable like bundles which are called as the collagen fibers, and these collagen fibers will then further be covered by other molecules. So in this table, you can see different types of the collagens, their broad classification, their molecular formula, and after polymerization, what is the physical form in which they are present, and also their tissue distribution. So all the collagens, 20 types have been identified. Not all are shown here. These are the which are mainly present in the connective tissue. So they are fibril forming, fibril associated, network forming, transmembrane, and others. So type 1, like in case of type 1, you can see that it is made up of one alpha chain and one alpha 2 chain. Okay? Now both the chains, two alpha chain and two alpha 1 chain and one alpha 2 chain. That means all the three chains here, they are of alpha 1, that means it is made up of two different types of alpha chain, alpha 1 and alpha 2. Now if you will see the type 2 collagen, it is all the three polypeptide chains, so alpha chains are there of the same type, that is the alpha 1 type. Then type 3, it is also made up of alpha 1, 3 alpha 1 chains it is made up of. Okay, so this is the type 3. So here you can see that in case of the 5, different types of alpha chains are there. In case of the 1, different types of alpha chains are there. So type 1, 4, 5, 9, and 11 are composed of 2 or 3 types of alpha chains, where 2, 3, 7, 12, and 17 and 18 are composed of only one type of the alpha chain. So all the alpha chains, they may be of same type or they may be of different types. And like I said, कि जो alpha type 1 collagen है, most common है, it is present in bone, skin, etc. Fibril associated is, which is present in cartilage, is collagen 5, collagen 9. Then collagen 4, sheath-like network. तो collagen जो 4 है, actually it is important because it forms the basal lamina. जो basal lamina, it is mainly made up of collagen 4, and here it forms a sheath-like network. यानी कि जो collagen protein secrete होके वो एक flat sheath-like structure बनाता है, and which is called as the basal lamina. और जो network forming में collagen 7 है, it is part of the anchoring fibrils. तो हम लोग ने अभी जंक्शन देखा, and they are present beneath stratified squamous epithelia. तो जो endothelial cells हैं, basal lamina है, उसके नीचे जो anchoring fibrils हैं, they are mainly made up of collagen 7. हेमिडेस्मोसोम्स हैं, उसमें ट्रांसमेम्ब्रेन कोलेजन है, कोलेजन 17 है. देन बेसल lamina around blood vessels, it is collagen 8. So in different types of the collagens, their tissue distribution is also different, and accordingly their polymerization is different. So this was about the collagen. Now another protein is elastin. So as we know that the elastic fibers, they will be providing the elasticity in these extracellular matrix so that they can sustain the pressure on them. But at the same time, these elastin fibers, इनमें tensile strength होता है, they can recoil. They show resilience, मतलब when pressure is there, they will stretch. When pressure is removed, they will recoil. ठीक है? But if only elastic fibers are there and if the pressure is there, they will keep on expanding. So to control the expansion of these tissues, along with the elastic fibers, collagen fibrils are also interwoven with the elastic fibers so as to limit the extent of the stretching and prevent the tissue from tearing. तो यदि कोई स्ट्रेचिंग को रोकने वाला कुछ नहीं है, इलास्टिक फाइबर है, प्रेशर जैसे हम लोग बलून फुला रहे हैं, वो स्ट्रेचेबल होता है, तो इन्फ्लेट हो रहा है और ब्रेक डाउन हो जाएगा. ठीक है? तो सेम वे यदि जो टिश्यूज है उस पर प्रेशर आ रहा है, वो फैल रहे हैं, अल्टीमेटली दे विल रीच अ स्टेट वेयर दे विल ब्रेक डाउन. So to prevent them from tearing, the elastin fibers, they are interwoven with the collagen fibrils, which will limit the extent of the stretching. And the presence of the elastin fibers, it is very much important in case of certain organs like lungs, blood vessels, etc. So here you can see that when the some pressure is there, stress is there, they will stretch and then again they will recoil. So elastin protein is composed of two types of short segments, that is hydrophobic segments, which are responsible for the elastic property of the molecule. And then the alpha helical segments, which are alanine and lysine rich, and they actually are responsible for holding the hydrophobic segments together. The elastin core is covered with a sheath of microfibrils. And microfibrils are composed of a number of distinct glycoproteins, including the large glycoprotein fibrillin, which binds to elastin and is essential for the integrity of the elastic fibers. So जैसा हम लोग ने कहा कि ये it is associated with the fibrils, so that it will limit its extension. Now next is fibronectin protein. तो फाइब्रोनेक्टिन प्रोटीन का मेन फंक्शन क्या है? It helps cells attach to the matrix. They help the cell to attach to the matrix with the help of the integrin molecule. So this is the structure of the fibronectin. So it is made up of two polypeptide chains which are held together by disulfide bond near the C-terminal end, and it is made up of multiple types of the domains. ये self association domain है, collagen binding domain है, cell binding domain है, heparin binding domain है, And these domains, they are attached by the flexible helical structures. तो ये जो डोमेन्स दिख रहा है जो कि थोड़ा रिजिड स्ट्रक्चर है और बीच बीच में दे आर जॉइंट, डोमेन्स आर जॉइंट बाय द फ्लेक्सिबल पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन. और व्हेन द स्ट्रेचिंग इज देयर देन द सेल बाइंडिंग डोमेन्स जो साइट्स हैं, क्रिप्टिक साइट्स हैं, वो ओपन होती हैं एंड द फाइब्रोनेक्टिन मॉलिक्यूल्स दे कैन आल्सो इंटरेक्ट विद ईच अदर. So fibronectin exists in both soluble and fibrillar form. So in the soluble form, they are present in the plasma and they are called as the plasma fibronectin, and it circulates in the blood and other body fluids where it has role in the blood clotting, wound healing and phagocytosis. सबको ये पता है. और जो insoluble form है, they are deposited in the extracellular matrix as the insoluble fibronectin fibrils. Now these fibronectin fibrils, they have a specific tripeptide sequence which is called as the RGD, arginine glycine aspartic acid, which is found in one of the type 3 repeats as a central feature of the binding site. Cell binding, ये RGD motif होता है इसमें and it is required for the cell to cell interaction. Intracellular actin filaments regulate the assembly of the extracellular fibronectin fibrils. So just now we have seen the structure of the desmosome and other cell adherent junctions, in which we have seen that the actin filaments were attached to the cytoplasmic plaque, and then it is attached to the integrin in case of the hemidesmosome and cadherin in case of the desmosomes. ठीक है. तो और ये जो हेमिडेस्मोसोम एंड डेस्मोसोम्स हैं, they are providing binding site for the intermediate filaments and also for the actin filaments. So now actin filaments present in one cell can regulate the assembly of the extracellular fibronectin fibrils, and they are mediated mainly by the integrin transmembrane adhesion proteins. So if suppose the actin filaments of one cells are disrupted by some mechanism, it has been seen that the assembly of the fibronectin fibrils on the outside of the cell does not occur. So fibronectin is important not only for the cell addition to the matrix, but also for guiding cell migration in vertebrate embryos. And transients and thrombospondins, they are composed of several types of short amino acid sequences, and they are repeated many times and form functionally distinct domains, and they have important role in guiding cell movements during development. So not only the fibronectin, but also these two proteins, that is transients and thrombospondins, they are important in guiding the cell movement during development. So basal lamina are composed mainly of type 4 collagen. जैसे मैंने तुमको बताया कि type 4 collagen क्या sheath like structure form करता है. So basal lamina is rich in type 4 collagen, and it also has other proteins like laminin, nidogen, heparin sulfate, proteoglycan, etc. And जो basal lamina है, they are not only acting as a barrier between the endothelial cells and the connective tissue, but it also has various functions in determining the cell polarity, influence cell metabolism, organize proteins in adjacent plasma membrane, etc. So here you can see that the endothelial cells are there, basal lamina, and then the connective tissue. So basal lamina is responsible for separating the endothelial cells from the connective tissue. So different types of the organizations are possible. This is one type in which the endothelial cells are separated from the connective tissue. Now, in the muscle cells, you can see that the whole of the muscle cell from all sides they are surrounded by the basal lamina, and then they are separated from the connective tissue. This is the common type. Now, in case of the kidney cells, they are present between two layers of the cells, and there they act as the filtration unit, filter membrane. Both cell sheets have gap in them, and the basal lamina serves as the permeability barrier, determining which molecule will pass into the urine from the blood. So there they act as a filter. In case of the kidney, they act as a filter, whereas in rest of the cases, they provide a surface for resting of the endothelial cells. They provide a site for attachment of the endothelial cells. But in case of the kidney, they have they act as a permeability barrier, and they act as a filtration membrane and decide that what molecule will be filtered from blood or will be passed on into the urine. So different component, तो इसके component layers हैं. तो पहले epithelial layer है, उसके below is basal lamina, which is rich in collagen 4. Now, what are the component layers? Lamina lucida, lamina densa. Now, these are the two layers of which the basal lamina is made up of. Or lamina lucida में what are the macromolecules present? It is laminin that binds to cell surface integrins and collagen 4. So, lamina lucida में mainly laminin protein है, which will bind to the cell surface integrins as well as the collagen 4. Lamina densa, mainly type 4 collagen is there. Now, what is basement membrane? So, basal lamina ho gaya, now the basement membrane. Basal lamina accompanied by reticular lamina, that is the type 3 collagen. So, basal lamina plus reticular lamina, and basal lamina is rich in collagen 4 and reticular lamina in collagen 3. Together, they are called as the basement membrane. And these are the functions of the basal lamina or the basement membrane. So this is the basal lamina. You can see that the cells were present on it. Some of the cells have been removed, and below the basal lamina is the ECM. So although the precise composition of the basal lamina, it will vary from tissue to tissue, even from region to region in the same lamina. Some most mature basal lamina contains. तो एक typical mature basal lamina है, तो उसमें क्या क्या होगा? Type 4 collagen है, large paran sulfate proteoglycan है, which is perlecan in this case. Then glycoproteins, laminin and nidogen. Nidogen is also called as inactin. And type 4, so type 4 collagen, paran sulfate, perlecan, and laminin and nidogen. These are the molecules which are present in a mature basal lamina. And type 4 collagen exists in several isoforms. Now, what is laminin? It is a large flexible protein composed of 3 very long polypeptide chains, alpha, beta, and gamma. And these chains are arranged in a shape of a asymmetric cross, and they are held together by the disulfide bond. Laminin alpha 1 chain is component of most laminin heterotrimers. And if the mice lacks it, it dies during embryogenesis because it is unable to make a basal lamina. So laminin gamma 1, it is common component of most of the laminin heterotrimer. And it has been found that if it was absent in a mice, the mice did not survive during embryogenesis because it could not make basal lamina. So this laminin in basement membrane, it consists of several functional domains. So various domains are there in case of laminin. One domain binds to perlecan, one binds to nidogen, and two or more laminin receptor proteins on the surface of the cells. तो एक तो perlecan जो प्रोटोग्लाइकन है या निडोजन को बाइंड करता है, और बाकी two or more domains of the laminin, they bind to the receptor proteins on the surface of the cell. So this is the structure of the laminin. You can see that it is made up of three chains: alpha, beta, and the gamma. And alpha chain is present as the globular domain. It has globular domain as well as it has got alpha helical domain. And through these different domains, they interact with the perlecan or with the nidogen or with the cell surface receptors present on the other cells. So as nidogen and perlecan can bind to both laminin and type 4 collagen, it is thought that they connect the type 4 collagen and laminin networks. Dystroglycan. Dystroglycan, it is an important type of laminin receptor. So dystroglycan is an important type of the laminin receptor to which laminin binds. Laminin also binds to with the integrins. Now this is the model of the molecular structure of the basal lamina. So you can see that here you can see the network of the type 4 collagen. You can also see the network of the laminin protein throughout the basal lamina, and also you can see that the perlecan is joining type 4 collagen with the laminin, and then the laminins, they are attached to the integrin, and another receptor to which the laminin binds is the dystroglycan, which is not shown here. So basal lamina performs diverse functions. In case of kidney, it acts as molecular filter. They are a selective barrier for the movement of the cells during development, and they are also important in tissue regeneration after injury, etc. So this was all about the extracellular matrix and the basal lamina. So already it is 3:45. I have not yet started cell signaling. So do you want me to continue?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Cell signaling तो start नहीं किया है.
Okay, no problem, madam. So
करना
communication तक हुआ ना?
Cell addition, basal lamina, HCM.
No problem. अगर in future slot खाली होगा, at that time we will adjust.
क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है, हम खुद ही
yes,
बोलते बोलते
yes.
थक गए, कंटिन्यूसली बोल रहे हैं, पूरा पर बोल भी नहीं रहे हैं, तो भी सेल एडिशन ही.
Okay. Students, do you have any query?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So finally, we should thank Bhakti madam for sparing her valuable time. So thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, students. We'll
Thank
meet.
you, friends. Best of luck.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Thank you, sir.
we are going to release our quiz in your classroom. It will start at 4 p.m. and we will meet on next Saturday. Okay. Thank you all.